Good morning. Welcome to the second session of the Adiala Summer School on Responsible AI. And today we focus the session first in the topic of agentic AI from the point of view of the technology, from the point of view of the platforms in the topic. And Juan Luis Suárez, Juan Lu, as you know, is together with Nuria, he coordinates the working groups. Please, you must send you must fill the application for the project selection among the 13 projects. And now, just when Juan Lu finishes the session, Juan Lu and Nuria will prepare the group. You know that there is a random selection if you don't fill the application. In any case, we have a problem. No a problem. We have 13 projects, but we will have 8 groups. Then we will try, or they must concentrate you according to your 3 options in those projects with more demand. Well, today, Juan Lu will introduce the agentic AI platforms from a practical point of view. Juan Lu is a postdoc now in the DaSCI Institute of DaSCI. He has some double degree in computer science and mathematics, a PhD in artificial intelligence, and the current topics are associated to trustworthy AI, safety, and human collaboration, and also in agentic AI. And today he will introduce the platforms that they are very important for you if your project is focused in real problems applied or with application of agentic AI. Juan Lu, please.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction. So, as Paco said, I will be talking today about agentic AI platforms. And I have approached this talk from a point of view of analyzing the main features that we may be interested in for an agentic platform. Then we will go deeper into one of the most popular platforms, and then we will have a more brief review of many more of them, with a finally analysis of all of them. Okay. So, well, these days, with the boom of agentic AI, a lot of agentic platforms have been developed. We have an interesting fact here that 62% of the organizations, enterprise, etc., are already experimenting with AI agents, and 23% are already scaling agentic AI systems. So, as we are moving each time more into the agentic systems, the platforms are becoming essential to build them and to control them and to deploy. Okay. So, what are we talking in this talk? As we said, there are a lot of agentic platforms. How can we try to choose the most appropriate for our needs? That's the question I'm going to try to answer, at least partially, in this talk. Okay? So, what things can we or should we consider to choose the right platform? Here I will be talking about several dimensions, like several degrees of different areas that we will see in the next slide. And then also a lot of features of other platforms that may be interesting depending on what we want to develop. Okay. So the first of these dimensions I have selected is the purpose of use. Okay. Agents can be used for a lot of things. In our area, we will be focusing mainly in research. In the other side, we have the user applications that made by enterprise that can be applied to many things. Also, the primary user who will be working in the development of the app. We can think of AI experts, then software engineers, and on the other side we can have technical experts of the domain with a little knowledge about computing. We can think, for example, in a medical area, biology engineer, and on the edge we could have the non-programmer user, which may need another type of tools beyond programming, like visual interfaces, if they want to make their own system. Some additional dimensions we can think about are the full control of the system versus the convenience of the tools we are having. If we are working in real applications or just we are happy with prototypes, the portability of the model, or if we just are fine with one ecosystem to work there. Also the single agent versus multi-agent paradigms, and the expectancy of life of our application. And beyond these dimensions, we can also think in a lot of features. Okay? Here we have all of them, and now I will be discussing in the next slides a little about each one. First, we have the platform standards, how the workflow works in that platform, the language providers, how can I use them, how easily can I use them, tool use, essential for the agentic systems, multi-agent coordination, protocols that can I use or I can easily use in the platform, memory management, retrieval, augmented generation. If I have any kind of reasoning or planning control of the systems, also human in the loop, observability or explainability, also topics that safety of the systems, privacy, interfaces to work beyond programming, and finally the deployment, the scalability, and also if we have any optimization tools for our system. Okay. So, well, several main standards for a platform. The supported languages, we will be focusing, for example, here in Python, so we will try to, well, most of the platforms right now allow Python as a language, so we may not have a problem with that. Also, open source may be interesting. The main purpose of the platform, which, well, developing agents, but depending on the platform, they can be more oriented to different things. Then, the first feature, workflow, architecture, and orchestration. Internally, most of the systems have a way to design the agents. We can think, for example, of graphs, state machines, pipelines. In this graph, we can also have like loops, conditional branches. So we can think about these questions. Can I, or how easily can I model my agent system as any of these things, or use that conditional loop, conditional branches loops, etc. Another important thing, the language model providers and the flexibility of the providers I can have in the platform. We can think, for example, in that, imagine we are working in a medical problem again. We have data that we cannot share to the internet, or we are working with our own language model. We have trained them for a particular case. So we may not always want to access open AI models or anthropic models, okay? So we have these questions for these cases, no? For example, how easily can I use commercial language models? Probably most of the platforms support them. Depending on the platform, it is true that, for example, the OpenAI platform will be more focused on OpenAI models, but they usually allow a lot of more models. How easily can I use locally hosted models, for example, using Olama? Define a new interface for a new language model I have made myself for a specific purpose. We can also think about multimodal models for some applications. And also, how easily can I control the parameters of these models? Do I have functions, tools to do that? Next important factor, the tool use. As I said before, it is essential for agentic platforms because it is the step to bring language models to agents, no? To interact with the environment. So how easily can I call a tool? Usually it's very easy in most of the platforms. How easily can I define my own tools? Also, usually it's easy. It is also interesting if the platform has a good library of tools already implemented. Also, how easily can I use external tools from other libraries that are exposed on the net? And if I can control the effects of these tools. No? We will also discuss this topic later, but here we will talk about, we can think about permissions of a tool, if the tool needs approval before getting used, retries, logs of the tool use, etc. Multi-agent coordination can be also important in a lot of applications. The use of multiple agents is increasing in this type of applications. So how easily can I, in my platform, define multiple specialized agents? How can I also define how they interact, if they delegate one on another, if they have peer-to-peer collaboration strategies, if there is an orchestrator, okay, or a sequential pipeline. Also, can I connect with existing external agents in an easy way? And also, as before we said with the tools, can I control the effects and the coordination of the agents? So these are questions that we will try to see them in several of the platforms. Okay. Okay. So continuing somewhat in the topic of tools and agents. we have also the protocols and interoperability between the agents. Usually the platforms have their own tool libraries, their ways to define multiple agents in their own library, but how can we also connect with other tools, use other tools from other libraries? How can we discover other agents and contact them and interact with them? For that, we need several protocols. The most used protocols right now are the model context protocol to use external tools, and the agent-to-agent protocol to interact with other agents and also discover them. So we may have to think about if the library the platform we want to use allows for these protocols, or how easily. Another interesting feature is the memory. We can have a lot of types of memory in our agent systems, short-term or conversation memory, the long-term memory that remembers like previous conversations in a whole project, for example. Also use patterns. How should I use some tool, knowing what happened before? Okay. So here we have several questions about the memory. Can I use easily short memory, long memory? Separate the long memory between user memory, semantic, episodic, procedural memory. Also an important thing, how easily can I control the memory, what to remember, what to retrieve later, what to forget in case I need to forget something. Also, can I have individual memories or shared memories for every agent? And according to privacy as well, which is a feature that we will see later, can we prevent sensitive information to be stored in the memory? Next topic, the RAG, or Retrieved Augmented Generation. Again, it may be important for many agent applications, so I should ask for the platform if I need to use a RAG. How easily can I, for example, ingest data from PDFs, website, databases, APIs, cloud, or any internal repositories? Also, how easily can I manipulate, for example, in PDFs, the chunking, the metadata extraction, the embedding generation for the retrieval later, combine vector search with keyword search, and all these strategies. Also, can I work with different bases simultaneously or how easily can I do it? And finally, how easily could I trace the retrieved source so that then also I could also explain to the user why I have output a certain answer. Another interesting topic, the reasoning and planning control. So in this, under this question, we should think about how easily can we make our agent think, or think in a certain way, like the chain of thought, react, responding over a tool use, or tree of thoughts, or anything. Can I do something like that beyond system prompting? So we can, or also, can we have like critic, verifier, evaluation, reflection steps? Another question, if I need human oversight, can I manage it with my platform? Pues here we have several questions about it. Can my platform allow me to pause the execution when I have high-risk actions, like tools involving several risks? Can I ask a human to approve or reject some question? Can I resume the workflow later and define several approval policies depending on the risk level, the tool, the user role? Okay. In terms of observability or explainability, most of the platforms will focus on how well can I observe or trace my answers. So we have questions like how easily can I trace every step of my agent, replay the failed runs to analyze them, export the traces, show some summaries of the agent's decision processes, and also, it is not usually built in the application. Can I generate explanations in any sense from the agents? Next feature, safety and privacy. It is an interesting topic because we know agents can usually produce dangerous outputs, for example, or they can receive malicious inputs. So can I add guardrails easily to block them? Also, to defend against prompt injection, prevent sensitive information to be stored or to be leaked, okay? And also, can we align in any way the platform with internal governance, legal, medical, regulatory requirements? We are almost finishing with the features. One of the last ones, interfaces and accessibility. This means if I'm not a programming expert, software developer, anything like this, can I also try to make my own system for any purpose? Like, do I have a graphical interface for non-expert users? Well, if I'm expert users, do I have the ability to configure everything I want? Also, for the developed systems, can I expose easily the agents through chat, web, APIs, in notebooks, Telegram, or any application similar? We're talking again about the citations. If we retrieve information, can we also get the citations or expose them easily? And we can also think in different interfaces for developers, reviewers, or domain experts. Deployment and scalability. Some questions about that. Important for the final systems. If I'm going to run an application for many users, how easily can I deploy them in the cloud? How easily can I scale my system when the need scales as well? And how well it works with long-running tasks, background jobs, queues, resumable executions, and also the credentials or secrets management. And the last feature we are talking here, related with the cost and the performance. Here we can think about several questions, like how easily can I limit my model to not use too much tokens in order to not expense too much or finish with the credits I have with my model provider. We can think of that. Also, can we catch the results of the retrieval to use them later? Also, batch operation. In general, can we minimize the expenses of the language model with built-in tools in the framework? Okay, so this is an idea of all the features we can take into account to develop or to choose which platform to use for one thing or another. Now we are focusing in the agentic AI platforms themselves. Okay. As we will see at the end, there are lots of platforms right now. Most of them work very similar in most of the aspects. So I will talk deeper in LangChain, which is one of the most popular platforms right now. And then at the end, we will discuss some of the other more relevant platforms, remarking the differences or the highlights that those platforms include with respect to LangChain. Okay, well, when we talk about LangChain, we really talk about the full Lang ecosystem, mainly composed by LangChain, LangGraph, LangSmith. Okay, here is the main information about the platform. Just a second, please. Well, the purpose of the platform is, of course, building and orchestrating LLM apps and agents. And as I said, it is divided in three main branches. We have LangChain, which is a high-level API to develop agents and model tool integrations mainly, also RAG, structured output and app logic. LangGraph is the low-level platform that allows us to play with the graph workflow of the agent system. Okay? And finally, LangSmith is the third platform for mainly observability, deployment, tracing, debugging, etc. It is, of course, in Python. It also allows TypeScript. LangChain and LangGraph are open source. LangSmith is more a web platform that we will also see later. They are free to use, but there is also a paid version for LangSmith with more possibilities of traces and deployment. And here we have a lot of integrations, things they can do, and production features. Okay, so all the previous features, we are going to see now them, how can they be translated to LangChain. Well, here we have, for example, how the workflow works. The workflow is controlled in LangGraph, the low-level interface, and allows us to make graph structures to define different agents. There you have the code. Maybe it is a little small, but you have them in the slides, which are shared. Okay. Well, the idea is add the nodes I want for my system, at the edges, the connections, and the conditional branches to define my application. The agent definition and language providers in LangChain, they are easy to use. LangChain has interfaces for Olama, Anthropic, OpenAI. They also allow us to define my own class for my own language model if I need. And the agent creation, it's pretty simple. It is usually simple in most of the platforms. We have there an example. It's just using the function create agent, selecting the model, the tools I want to use, the system prompt, and then just start working with it.
Excuse me, when you say maximum token, that's maximum token?
Sorry, the microphone. Okay.
When you mention the maximum token in cloud and OpenAI, that's you mean maximum token per prompt or what?
I think so, because of the size. I think it is per, but well, I could say the documentation. Not sure, but I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we finished with this slide. So the tool use usually very similar also in other platforms. Usually we have to make just the function with the tool to use, and then send to our agent we want that tool as a parameter. Many of them specify a decorator, the tool decorator, for example, for LangChain to use them. And we can also add wrappers for the tools, for example, to check permissions. Imagine if for some reason I don't want to allow a tool in certain situations, I can add a condition to block that tool if it is triggered in that situation. Multi-agent coordination, it's allowed in several ways. I can, on the one hand, use directly LangGraph, the low-level interface, to model the graph as I want. And I can also program the typical patterns via LangChain. These patterns are sub-agents, where I have a main agent that receives the request, and then, well, maybe it is not very big, but I will try to explain it by word. In the sub-agent paradigm, we have the main agent that receives the request, and then it asks the other agents, specific agents, to finish that request depending on the topics the user has asked. In the handoffs pattern, there is also a main agent that receives the request, but once it processes the request, then it delegates to the specific agents, and then they do all the work. In the first one, the control returns back to the main agent. In handoffs, the control doesn't return. The skills paradigm, it's like a single agent strategy, but the agent changes itself, loading different skills according to the initial request. And finally, the routing strategy, we have, instead of an agent, a routing language model that receives the petition and transforms it in another query, text query for the sub-agents. Well, the need for using one or other strategy relies mainly in the number of calls the agents may need. Okay, so depending on the application, sub-agents may need less calls. and in other applications it will be the opposite. In terms of protocols and interoperability, LangChain allows connection and deployment exposement of model context protocol servers. So we can connect to another server, get their tools, or we can also expose our own tools. The agent-to-agent is not directly wrapped as a function in the library, but it is not also difficult to implement it with the agent-to-agent tools from other libraries. Okay, and if we deploy an agent server, it I think automatically expose an agent-to-agent endpoint for communication for other servers. So to have my own A2A server, it is easy. In terms of memory and states, the platform allows us to use both short memory and long-term memory. The short memory is stored or used with a checkpointer structure. For long-term memory, we have the so-called stores. Okay. If we want to remember, forget, recall, or update memory, the suggestion is to build tools for that. Okay. And we can also have, the library also provides a middleware for automatical summarization, for example, for long conversations, to store in memory as a more as a shorter information. According to RAG, the platform also has the tools, the functions to make it work. Maybe it is not as immediate as other platforms. There is a little manual work. For example, here is an example for a PDF. We have to go step by step. We have to define our embeddings model, define our vector store, I think chunking or processing our PDF to start information, and then we define our agent. We can add a context variable to it, so to make it work with that context. About reasoning and planning control, beyond system prompts, an interesting thing LangGraph in this case let us to do is to wrap the reasoning as another graph. So we can have a lot of states modeling that steps of the reasoning, or like several nodes, like a generator node, a critical node. For example, we are thinking in a tree of thought, to put an example, and construct a graph to work in this way. For human control or human in the loop, the platform has interesting tools. The middlewares I commented before for summarization are also useful for other things. They basically act inside the agent use and can modify its working. In this case, we have human in the loop middleware built in the platform that allows to for a specific tool to define an interruption point, and then we can process that interruption and ask a human if they need for approval of the tool use or rejection. In terms of observability, we move now to Langsmith, the third platform, and in Langsmith we have the opportunity to check, for example, all the tool calls, all of the agent steps they have made, and analyze them with a lot of variables. And an interesting thing is that to do this, we just have to add an environment variable with the Langsmith API key, which, well, there is a free version, so we don't have to pay for that key. And well, they have some tracing limits, but in theory, we can just, for little applications, work adding that environmental variable and tracing there. Well, in terms of safety or trust in the models, privacy, the platform offers mainly on possibly terms of privacy and safety. On the one hand, the possibility of building guardrails, for example, for filtering ROM outputs of the models or malicious inputs from the users, and also a lot of middlewares as well to prevent, for example, personal information to enter in the models. Also limiting the number of tool calls in case they are to avoid, for example, loops or well, too many tool calls, because they can be also a problem in several applications. They usually shouldn't need very much. So we have a lot of middleware for privacy and guardrails for security, for safety. In terms of interfaces of the platform, we have several ones. We have from Langsmith, Langsmith Studio for development and debugging, mainly of the networks of LangGraph. We have also a Langsmith UI for observability and tracing. And we have also third-party platforms that build on over LangChain, like LangFlow or FlowWise, that also allows us to define models visually with a visual interface. For the deployment and scalability, the platform offers us the engine for the execution, which is called the agent server, and the platform where this engine runs and the agents deploy, and also scale, which is in Langsmith deployment. In terms of tools to reduce cost or to optimize the token use or the agent optimization, we talked before about the tool called limit middleware. We can also limit the number of model calls. We have also the summarization and middleware as well, combined with the memory. We can also add wrappers on the model calls, like for routing. For example, for one task, I just need a small model, let's use it, and for other tasks, let's use the bigger model. And we have also tools to catch past queries that are similar to the newer ones, so that we don't need to go through the model again. Okay, with this we finish with LangChain, and now we will go to a brief walk on other of the main platforms in the at this moment. Okay. So first, I will start with OpenAI Agents SDK. It is another framework to build multi-agent systems. Also allows for tools, delegation, guardrails, tracing, and support of the model context protocol. It is also available in Python and TypeScript, open source. It has only a free version, but there is here a trade-off because it is designed to work mainly with the OpenAI APIs. Well, a lot of integrations again, and a lot of production features. Okay, so in general lines, it works in the same way as LangChain. We can define our agents, add them a model, then we can use memory, define multi-agents, use RAG, a lot of things. And a few differences to highlight. For example, first one, like not a drawback because it can also be done, but it is not as easy. Is that this platform is focused on the OpenAI models. So if we want to use a cloud model, an Ollama model, it will need a little more work, but also not very much as well. And the long-term memory support, it is recommended to use databases. They don't have a native structure like LangChain. And other different things. They have predefined handoffs system for multi-agent collaboration. LangChain talked about all these agent systems, but they suggest to implement them programmatically. Here we have already this approach, and we just have to add a line to the code. A lot of built-in retrieval augmented generation tools. Okay, so it is less work in that way as well. Another highlight is the power in traceability and observability with a dashboard application that can be used. Next one, the Google agentic agent development kit. It is the Google version of agent development. It again allows for using tools, developing multi-agent systems, etc. Also available in Python, TypeScript, Go, and Java. Open source with a free-to-use version. There is also an enterprise version which allows the deployment of big systems. Benefits from the Google application, a lot of Google integrations that can be easily done. And I think there is a talk about Google platform next day, so they will talk a lot more about this topic. A few features, the natural agent-to-agent interoperability, since this protocol was developed by Google. Also, the natural access to most of the Google Workspace tools and the Google Cloud. Also, they have a lot of predefined agent orchestration, so we don't have to make them manually. In terms of like the OpenAI platform, there is a similar inconvenient. Well, not that much. It is model agnostic, but they also have a little more work if you are not using a Google model. The human-in-the-loop mechanisms were not developed very much until the version 2.0, which now is in beta. Next framework, we have the Microsoft agentic framework that is the successor of two platforms existing before. I think they are still there, which are AutoGen and semantic kernel. And they are generic approaches also for agent and multi-agent workflows, maybe with more enterprise support, also supported in Python and C#, open source as well, free-to-use version. They have paid features or extensions to use Foundry agent service of Azure, a lot of Azure integrations, several production features that are interesting. As Google was powerful with the Google Workspace, this platform is powerful on the Azure ecosystem. Okay, it also allows for predefined agent orchestration. They can be defined easily. Here we have an example. It has been released really recently. I think it is from April, so it may be still subject to many changes between versions. Another thing to comment is that maybe they don't have as middleware as LangChain to control the agent way of working. This is the main information of the Microsoft Agentic Framework. We are going to talk about maybe the two other more important frameworks of the moment. We have Creo AI, which was discussed yesterday in a talk. This is a different approach or a different strategy to orchestrate the agents. It is mainly oriented to multi-agent workflows. As it was explained before, it is oriented to roles, tasks, even crews to develop the multi-agent systems, as well open source, free to use. They have a paid enterprise version. Maybe the main features are the difference in the multi-agent strategy. And we can also comment the last platform of the top 6, Llama Index. This is also a platform with following a different approach. Okay, it is mainly oriented to retrieval augmented generation. Very powerful to work with documents, data connectors, indexed retrieval, and building agents for those topics. Okay, also available in Python and TypeScript, open source and free to use. Can be extended to use Llama Cloud and Llama Parse. And the main integrations are all related to PDFs, databases, connectors. And the main production features also highlight the retrieval augmented generation. And many more, because there has been these years a lot of development. For example, the Hugging Face library, small agents, Pydantic, I think is this one, High Stack, Mastra, and still there are more beyond them. Some, well, small platforms also oriented more to research. We have specific multi-agent frameworks that, for example, Camel, it is a platform more oriented to research in scaling agents. They have tools for easy creation of multiple agents and roles, simulation, data generation, automatization. And also, well, they have dynamic communication features, allow for memory shared or individual, and scalability. MetaGPT is another framework, a curious framework that models like the roles in a software enterprise. So at a query, they launch their agent, their software engineering system to mainly develop codes, data analysis, and those type of things. Okay. Well, OpenAI Swarm is like a previous version of the OpenAI Agents SDK. It's a lightweight framework mainly for orchestration, and that is right now it is usually used to examples and small study cases. This is about multi-agent workflows. I have focused on code-first platforms because, well, for our needs, I think it's the most suitable thing. But we have also low-code or even visual platforms. We have talked before about LangFlow or FlowWise, which were interfaces for LangChain. For example, we have here also Besser, which is a platform that next week you will have a talk here explaining the platform better. And it is a fully platform to develop agents visually or with very little code. Okay, it is not only available for agent generation. They also allow to build code, normal code from UML, diagrams or similar, even for quantum computing and many other applications. And well, just to mention them, because I thought that it was interesting to talk in a talk about agentic platforms. Not as related with the other ones, but we have also a lot of software agents that I'm pretty sure most of you already know, like Codex, Cloud Code, the GitHub Copilot, we can consider them already as agents, ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, and well, OpenCloud, for example, like a personal agent that has also become interesting recently. Well, just to finish, a few final insights. This is from personal experience, from what I have been seeing while I was preparing this talk. About the initial dimensions I commented, about which is the primary user who will work in the development or the purpose of use. Here, as I said, there is my personal feedback about this. I would place, for example, LangChain or the Lang ecosystem, the first we talk about, nearly in the middle, because I think it is from the commercial or the most popular platforms, the one that allows to go more in both directions, like for research and for the application development. The commercial, well, the OpenAI, Google, Microsoft platforms are more in the consumer side. They also offer more powerful deployment platforms. So that's the idea of being there. Well, the visual interface, of course, are more focused to non-programmer experts, as well as for, well, consumer applications. For example, I don't know, in the case of a hospital, to make an agent system for a specific purpose, an agent application. Then, for example, the Camel ones, MetaGPT, may be more focused or can be more placed to the research side. Also, maybe require as well higher AI knowledge, while the OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, and even Lang are in the just with the programming ability skills. I think they can used in a proper way. Well, then Llama, well, the remaining ones are also in the middle side. Well, between these two dimensions, there is a, well, in my, as I said, this is my personal feedback, a correlation between the level of expertise and the level of research of as the purpose of the application. Also, a final valoration, you don't have to pay too much attention to this, because it's a lot of platforms to evaluate. So, well, the summary is that the main ones are very powerful in most of the aspects, with 4 or 5 stars in almost everything. Well, the visual ones, for example, are better in the terms of user interfaces, are weaker in other things, because they allow us for less handling. So here, well, that's the main idea I wanted to comment here. Of course, again, it is a personal valoration while working in this talk. And also, well, they are very powerful, but they still can be improved. No? So, well, something that it was planned before, it could be possible to develop an ideal platform for example, research. Maybe there is room for that. We could focus in several features and try to focus on those ones to develop an ideal platform. So, well, the conclusion is that maybe we can still have more platforms focused on the purposes, well, several purposes. For example, research. Maybe we can still have several ones. And that's all. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions.
Gracias. Thank you, Juan Luis. I would like to ask you, please, can you go back to the previous one? The previous one, this one. Here you have an classification or a taxonomy with the purpose from pure research to consumer application, and you have from no programmer users to AI experts. I am checking that when you think to use from the research point of view, you need to be an expert. It has sense because you are using the platform for research. Usually you are an AI expert theoretically because your interest is to research and then you have experience in AI. But you have on the right, and from non-programmer user, Besser, that is a platform, you have been working with Besser, and we will have a presentation of Besser next, an expert of Besser from Leaks Lab next week. I would like to know your opinion from the point of view of the project. I have here the list of the project with more attention. For example, the project with more requests. I must take care with the laptop, sorry. Sorry, the laptop is survived. The project with more attention is explainability. Please, from the point of view of explainability, that there will really 10 people propose explainability as first option. Then, this is a spoiler, then our idea is to have two things with explainability in order to provide the possibility to work. What is the platforms if the things considered are real problems, are real application, or tomorrow we explain how they start. Is tomorrow or after tomorrow, After tomorrow, Thursday. Thursday or we explain how they consider a real problem in his project and the way to construct the project with a real problem. What was the topic of your project last year? Initial topic, do you remember? Was associated partially to explainability because they were working in explainability. The project of Oyer, a spoiler of your presentation, finally Oyer will, and the team of Oyer, they did choose a real problem and analyze from explainability point of view the real problem. And they did start with a real problem. And then later, as Oyer we explained, the project attracted the attention in the journal because they start from real problem and they develop a theory associated to the real problem. Juan Luis, from the point of view, in the other slide of here, I don't know, what do you suggest if the things propose explainability? Of course, are people with experience in AI. What is your suggestion? Because I'm checking Camel, Meta, they are from the Camel can support any kind of language model, I suppose. What do you suggest for explainability and other kind of? What is the second one? The second one is human oversight. The second one is human oversight, and the third one auto-distribution. Auto-distribution was not the fair option for so much people, only 2 people, but was a second or third option for a lot of people. But the fair option are explainability, causality also has, the fair option was explainability, also human oversight, governance, and RAG, causality and RAG, and reasoning. What is your suggestion for them? Because we like Besser, you have been working with Besser. Besser is more require less technical knowledge. Really, it is an advantage to develop an application. What is your suggestion for them, for the teams?
Well, Besser maybe it's too visual for digging into those type of things. The research area there with Camel, MetaGPT, maybe it's they are platforms developed for researching, but maybe they are too niche. So, or like you research in the specific topics they were designed. I think most of them were multi-agent interaction. So maybe I would choose the Lang ecosystem because it is the most centered one. It is good enough if you have programming skills. And between the big four here with Lang and the OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft, I think it is the more oriented to research without forgetting the consumer area, because the other ones have more powerful interfaces for deployment. But LangChain, it is like the equilibrium between the ability of doing a lot of things in the platform and a good deployment ability. So,
okay, thanks. One question. Last year, we were checking. Last year, we include in the same topic human AI collaboration. This year, human oversight. Same, in the same area. We include together explainability, governance, and human AI collaboration. This was the topic of OIR. OIR is working in governance auditability, and they choose explainability, this topic. Well, this year we separate, was the proposal of Juan Lu and Nuria. They separate the problems, and we have explainability, the first choice, with 10 of you has the explainability as the first option, and other 10 of you as second or third option. Really, we will have 2 teams, and people with the first option, probably all of them will be in explainability. Second option this year is human oversight, and human oversight associated to human AI. I think that it, and the third option is near to the third option, okay, auto-distribution with a few requirements, only 2 people, auto-distribution of the third option, but a lot of people in the second option, causality and governance. This year governance is different. My question, if you are working with governance, Juan Lu, I understand that, for example, Besser, that is a good platform, very easy to prepare an application with Besser. Probably, if they choose a governance, there will be a team with the governance. To work with Besser may be a good option, because really, from the governance point of view, the problem is similar with the distance among them. The governance is a global problem of AI system, and to have the rules of governance. For any problems, if you choose a real application, we need to develop the governance methodology, a governance pipeline. Do you think that Besser maybe, for example, Besser better for governance and Camel, if they want to think in a potential project with future work and to continue the collaboration in the future for explainability? Or even Besser, with your experience with leaks, the labs, maybe also useful for explainability? In your opinion, that you are expert with Besser and you are working with Besser, do you use for governance? I suppose the answer was yes. For explainability, do you use Besser also? Do you think it's possible to introduce algorithms with explanation inside of Besser? What is your opinion? Because you were working with the people from Leaks, the labs from Luxembourg.
Well, I think they are keeping with the updates of the system. Actually, I entered yesterday, and there were more features. But well, from the visual interface, just from the visual interface, it will be a little difficult right now, I think. But it can be complemented. They have also code below that visual interface, so with that help, it may be possible. Although, well, I think in general for most of the applications, I would say LangChain should be the most neutral option, or
yes, it's in the middle between research
yes.
and consumer application. But for governance, in theory, for the governance topic, any one of the platform may be useful, because really the governance, you are thinking on the problems, the agents, the cooperation among agents, and then to govern the guardrails and to govern the model. Probably for governance, any one of them may be useful, no?
Well, yes, maybe.
And in your opinion, if the two things, and there is another thing that choose causality. Causality has also a lot of requests. Causality and explainability, they are both together in the area of explainability. Causality is associated to explainability, but from a quite a different point of view. Explainability from a post hoc way to understand the decision, and causality checking or understanding the problem, the connection between among variables and so on. Then probably for explainability and causality, your suggestion is a long graph that was a long chain, that was the first one that you introduced. You like for research, you like this platform.
Yes,
maybe it's easy to include and to develop modules for these topics.
Yes, I will choose that because the more flexibility it has on most of the areas, so that can be then used for the different applications.
Let's suppose that one team present explainability with long chains. I understand that long chains can be connected with any one of the LLMs. If you have an account in, I have an account, for example, in ChatGPT, personal account, and we have an account from university with the Google Gemini, sorry. In this case, and we have in 2 days a talk about Gemini and Gemini agents. If you have an account with university, that I suppose in other university we have also the account of people from here, from Granada, is possible to connect long chain with this account, or do you need a professional account in order to develop application?
Most of the, for OpenAI, I think even you are paying the ChatGPT Plus, if you want to program with an API, you need to pay.
You need but you need the pro version, not the personal version, in order to connect the agent.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Probably with the personal version is really the low cost, and the agent consume a lot of.
But
sorry.
€100 per month.
100 euros per month, the pro version of ChatGPT. Okay, my personal version in Spain is 24 euros, I think. Is my personal version, and our Gemini version is also the personal. The university is an academic. Yes, is not a pro of Gemini. Then really the problem is that the consumer to have the continuously the iteration of the agent consume a lot of prompting, I suppose, no?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I usually, to do a small experiment, use directly, well, Aulama language model on the local server, so I don't usually test using the commercial.
The professional, and you use the Llama that is supported in our
yes.
In our platform, our
yes.
hardware H100. Mm-hmm. Then you have the Llama, and you connect Longchain and also Verser with Llama.
Yes, they both support. Most of the platform support. Llama.
Then really the student, if they want to develop a project, to present a proposal now, because now is only a proposal, an idea, and they want, if they want to develop a project, a real project along next month's cooperation, it's a good idea for example, we have here the support with Llama, and it's a good idea to have Llama with one of the graphical card of our H100 and to connect Beser or Launchain can be connected with Llama, and they can develop directly a project with the Llama without any cost of the connection with the professional accounts. Maybe possible?
Yes, that's an option. Another option is, I think there are some language models that allow a free use for a limit of use, like X tokens. You can use them for a period of time. So that's another possibility, because well, the server models, the model hosts in our servers don't allow for a very large number of parameters.
But I am thinking the possibility that from the 7 things, you will be 2 things with explainability, 1 thing with causality, and in these 3 things, I think there is a thing with RAG that also, of course, with the RAG will work with Llama probably. And really, I think that the project, they can propose real application, real project, thinking that to continue in the future with the collaboration, thinking about an internal application of Llama, and they can develop really the project with it. I am thinking about the next time after the summer school finish next week, and let's suppose you have an interesting project and you want to continue the collaboration among you. For me, it would be excellent. We can support you, Juan Lu, Nuria, and myself, and other people from the other speakers, depending of the topics. Really, anything in the possibility. If you want to develop, to continue developing the project, you have access, for example, at what platforms, H100 cars, and we have Llama, among others. David Llama. It is possible. How many graphics do you need to use Llama in the H100? You are using the small model. You are using now, I remember, Mistral, and also there is another possibility. We have the people from Abu Dhabi can use also Falcon, and David is using Falcon in our system, because Falcon and Mistral, they are small, they are 7B, I remember, among other, or 7 between 7 and 10B, and David is working with a small model. It's possible, Juan, also to use Mistral or Falcon. Falcon has 2 possibilities. Falcon has a big model, big parameter model. Falcon have a small one. David is working with Falcon. Even Falcon can be used in any, not in any, but with some high quality graphic cards, but without so much restriction. Maybe possible even to develop a project with Falcon or Mistral, a small language model, even try to interact for causality and explainability. Do you think maybe even to use, because if they use a small language model, it's very easy to install it. Even David, I know that is doing experiment with a big personal computer with a strong graphic cards, but it is possible to use Falcon and Mistral, but they can develop a real application with explainability or causality. Do you think?
Well, you mean if it is feasible to integrate Falcon with the platforms, or?
I think so, David. You are using Falcon in your computer, no? In your experiment.
Not right now. The last time I used Falcon was like 1 year ago.
The previous experiments. But where do you use Falcon? In your computers or in the H100?
Depends on the
The site, of course. But I think so. I think it is possible to integrate Falcon.
Yes, well, in
And
any
we
case,
have in fact, I remember we have a talk of agentic by Merwan, the director of the project of Falcon. Then Falcon is connected with agentic, and people from the student from Abu Dhabi can access probably a direct account with Falcon. I think so. I'm sure. I don't know the difficulty to connect better with Falcon, but sure it is possible, and long chain. I am thinking about the possibility to have the access to hardware and to a small language model and develop a project a long time with this small language model. Of course, if they use a small language model, the quality may be reduced from a general point of view, but really from a practical and specific problem, with an RAG, that there will be a team with RAG. I am thinking even the RAG team can be coordinated with the other things, and they will present a project on RAG, and you can integrate the RAG project to get explainability, in order to have a specific technology for a problem in the RAG, and then to introduce explainability technology in order to check the behavior. I think it's possible. I don't know certainly, but this is now really for then. I think you must study this possibility. In your proposal, you must propose the project. Really, you will not develop the project because you have no so much time. You propose the project. It's important. You propose. We want to integrate a RAG. We can collaborate with the team of the RAG that they are proposing the top technology for RAG. We are thinking on a particular or special problem. We can integrate knowledge on the problem in the RAG. We can connect Falcon with the RAG in order to have a specific the knowledge on the problem, or Mistral or another platform, and then we develop the directly the agentic with connection with Falcon and with a RAG in order to focus the attention on a special problem. And we want to introduce some explainability methodology in order to explain or causality, or to get the causality for the problem. Probably they must study this possibility. The project is a proposal for the future, and really they need to study how really can they connect launching better with this kind of a small platform. Of course, another possibility is to propose, we want a project working with the OpenAI platform connected directly with ChatGPT, or they can propose, we want to use the Gemini and the platform of Google, but there is another possibility. They are using commercial platform, very strong or with high power and high quality the language models in comparison with the small language language model, but of course the scenario is quite different. From a more practical, real, direct practical application, they can propose to use the big platforms, and from a research point of view, probably is better to think about a small language model integrating with explainability. But really, we want to listen to you in the presentation about your proposal. You must develop an idea, and we will evaluate the quality of your idea, because we are not, you can develop some small experiments with the platforms, but we have not so much time. Really, basically, you present a proposal for the future, and really, it was the case of Oyer with Riscambi that he will present. They presented here the idea to analyze Riscambi, but really, after to finish the summer school, the team that with Oyer and other people, they, of course, the proposal was very good proposal. I remember to like so much the proposal, but later they continued developing the study in order to analyze the problem, the Riscambi, and proposing the complete methodology that Oyer we explained you. Then we want to receive proposal, ideas, creative ideas, and with the possibility to develop in the future. Yes, we are over time and we have the coffee. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy using platforms or presenting proposals following the ideas that presented Juan Luis. Thank you very much.
Welcome.